Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. We're here today with special guest, Gregory Mohr, who's here to share with us real freedom, why franchises are worth considering, and how they can be used for building wealth. So are you looking to take control of your financial future? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. So Gregory Mohr is a visionary entrepreneur, Wall Street Journal bestselling author, and the driving force behind Franchise Maven. Gregory's journey from a seasoned microelectric circuit engineer to the CEO and founder of a thriving franchise empire is nothing short of inspiring. So welcome to the show, Gregory Mohr.
Marianne, thank you very much for having me today. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's such an honor to have you here, and I'd love to hear about your journey. What initially drew you to the world of franchising?
Interesting, Marianne. We have to go back into the Wayback Machine for that one, but I'll keep it short. When I turned 16, we all got jobs somewhere, and most of us got jobs at fast food places, and mine just happened to be Taco Bell. And as it turned out, I moved up in the Taco Bell world, started managing the owner's restaurants. Turns out she was a master franchiser for Taco Bell, owned about 50 Taco Bells throughout the Woodland and Sacramento, California area. And I went around helping her build up her teams. That was my first foray into franchising.
Oh my goodness, what a great background, and also what a great education. You must have learned so much during that period of time.
Yes, I had no idea, Marianne, what franchising was all about or even franchising at all. I was probably there for 6 months, a year before I realized that, hey, this is a franchise. And I worked with Kathy, who owned all those restaurants. And it was great exercise and working with people, helping her build her teams, and then learning about the world of franchising. And it took me another 30 years after that before I got back into it. I worked with them for about 5 years or so, went on to manage other restaurants and became a microelectronic circuit engineer and got out of the corporate world and said that franchising thing was a lot of fun. I got to get back into that. So that's what got me back into franchising.
Oh, with all the knowledge and experience you have with that, I mean, how valuable is that? And so for people who are looking to be part of a franchise, how do they discern what's a good one to go with and what's one that they might want to pass up?
What you're going to be looking at there, Marianne, is it's actually pretty straightforward to get into the world of franchising. You just have to think about what are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? What do you want to invest time-wise? What are you comfortable investing money-wise into it? And then you have to go out there and search through the franchises and do your due diligence process. There's two different types of franchises. One, the brick and mortar franchises, Marianne, that you and I see all the time as we're driving around. Those are a little bit more of an investment, 300,000 or more. And then there's a service industry franchises where your clients don't know you exist until they need you. Those are around $150,000 total investment. And then as far as time-wise, you got to think about, am I going to do this full-time or am I going to do this semi-absentee? Many franchises that do either one or the other or both. Full-time semi-absentee is about 10 to 15 hours a week or so, managing the manager and managing the profit and loss statements. So you just have to go through and kind of figure out, which ones you like. There's no real differences how much money you can make for either one on that. It just comes down to a matter of, what do you feel comfortable investing time-wise, money-wise, and what type of a business do you want to get into?
What was your first experience as a franchise owner like?
Oh, it was fantastic. I got into, with the help of a franchise consultant, I found one who knew they existed. I didn't at the time. It was great. He got me into a Schooley Mitchell telecommunications consulting franchise where I helped businesses reduce their phone bills. Think of things like car dealerships that have a huge number of phones. I helped them with that. Dennis Schooley did the training on that one. He owned the franchise. He was just an outstanding individual, really set the stage for what franchising was all about, had everything all planned out for me, step-by-step process. Do this, talk to these people, this is what you say, this is how you present it. And I never had to wonder what to do next. He didn't get me up in the morning. He didn't give me a call and say, Greg, time to get up. Nothing like that. So you have to be a self-starter, but he really set the stage for what that process was all about as far as becoming a franchisee and then learning to grow your business. Great training, great mentor.
Oh my goodness, what a fabulous experience. And I love your book, Real Freedom. I think it highlights so much for people who are looking for an alternative way to really build wealth. In it, you talk about it highlights how franchises are worth considering. What are some of the key advantages?
Having a team of people, Marianne, that's going to help you grow that business. If you don't have the latest, greatest idea, franchising is a good way to go where you get kind of a business in a box, so to speak, where you're going to get all the experience of somebody who's already made all the mistakes before you, got those all ironed out, has got the process in place, has reproduced it a few times, so you know it's reproducible on that. And they're going to show you exactly what they did to make themselves successful and to be a mentor to you to help you grow your business and to make you successful as well.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions about franchising that you'd like to debunk?
One, you're not going to be rich in a year or two on that one. So don't think that. It's going to take a little bit of work on that one. So, but well worth it in the end. But it does take time to build those up. The other ones I would say is that it doesn't require a huge amount of money, except if you get into some of the brick and mortar franchises. So 100,000, 150,000 for the service industry, and you could still make a great six-figure income, and you can still do it semi-passive or part-time. So it doesn't always take a huge amount of time or a huge amount of money for that. A lot of the people think you're buying a job, which in reality, I can find a franchise for you if you just want a job. That's easy enough to do. But most of the franchises out there don't want you working in the business. They want you working on the business and building that business up on there. So you're not buying a job and you can still be creative. A lot of folks think, you're strict regiment. You have to do this, you have to do that. With some of the franchises that have 1,000 or more franchisees, that's probably the case on those where they have a really strict, which is good for a lot of people. Do exactly this and this is your results. But quite a few of the franchises out there still encourage you to be creative as well and help them grow their systems.
So, is it important that we understand the business and the industry that we are buying franchises in?
Not at first, Marianne. You don't necessarily have to be an expert in the business or industry that you're getting into. I put a lot of people into businesses and industries that they don't know anything about to begin with. However, down the road, you're going to have to learn them. You really have to get to know that business and that industry. What makes them successful today? What is going to make them successful tomorrow? Where does the money come from? What do you have to do to get it? So before you get into any business or industry, you must know the business and industry pretty well. Before, as I say, you sign on the dotted line. I help people with that. The franchisees that you talk to are going to help you with that. Franchisor is going to help you with that. So really get to know that business or industry so you've got a great idea of where that's going and it's the right one for you.
I think it's so important to have somebody that's been there and gone through the steps to kind of guide you through it. And what a valuable service that you offer being able to do that with people.
I enjoy it. A lot of people don't know. I never knew franchise consultants existed. I went out there, went click happy on the internet, had about 20 different franchise development people calling me until I found a franchise consultant. And not only that, but we as franchise consultants, we are free on that no charge to our services. Franchisors pay us a referral fee if you decide to invest in one of the franchises that I introduce you to. And it's a really great way to go because we have a lot of information on the franchises themselves. So I really get to know my clients. Where have they been? What do they bring to the table? Where are they at now? Time wise, money wise, where do you want to be 5 to 10 years from now on that? And then after I get to know you that well, I know who the franchisors are looking for in successful franchisees. So once I know what you're looking for, then I can do the matchup on that. And I can find out who's available in your area, the cultural fit, monetary fit. When we just structure a plan for you based on where you want to be and what you bring to the table.
I think that that's so important having someone guide you through because I mean, how difficult it must have been your first franchise must have been very difficult figuring everything out. And you've done that so people don't have to do that.
Exactly right. And along the way, Marianne, we also have different people that I can introduce you to. So funding is pretty easy for a franchise. Franchise has got that proven track record of success. Your bank is probably going to be a little more challenging if you go directly to your bank. I have funding people that do franchise funding all the time. Very simple, easy process. I have CPAs that work with franchises, and I have franchise attorneys. So everything that you need to make an informed decision on that. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to let you know what you're getting yourself into and make certain that you're okay with that.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with Gregory Mohr in regards to his books, Real Freedom, Why Franchises Are Worth Considering, and How They Can Be Used for Building Wealth, and Expert Resilience, how entrepreneurs are leading the future in mind, mastery, and meaning. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you an author, speaker, or expert who is looking for more publicity? Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up for free interview requests from shows looking for guests. Radio Guest List is the #1 free booking resource for radio, podcasts, and TV talk shows who are looking for experts like you right now. Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up today to get the visibility you deserve.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
It's one thing to become attached to your perfect home, but what do you do when that home becomes attached to you? A family in dire need of a fresh start, a mysterious house tied to the past. Buried deep within the foundation of the old Far Hill Manor lies a centuries-old secret. Dark forces or something stronger just waiting to be discovered. Caretaker, a supernatural thriller by breakout authors R.J. Halpert.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest, Gregory Mohr, who's sharing with us his books, Real Freedom, Why Franchises Are Worth Considering and How They Can Be Used for Building Wealth, and Expert Resilience, How Entrepreneurs Are Leading the Future in Mind, Mastery, and Meaning. So what are some of the common traits? I know you mentioned one earlier, but some of the common traits that you see in successful franchise owners.
First off, to get started, you have to have a little bit of risk tolerance. It is a business. It is risky. There's no guarantee you'll be successful, but franchise definitely helps that success rate on there. You need to be able to follow a system and process, because that's what franchising is all about, is following those systems and processes on there. And you have to be able to be mentored, because you're going to have a mentor. They're going to help you out. And you still have to be a self-starter on that. As I indicated before, Dennis didn't call me and wake me up in the morning and tell me it's time to get going. You still got to get up in the morning and you still got to follow those plans and processes. But with all those things behind you and on that, your chances of success are that much.
In your book, Expert Resilience, it discusses adaptability. So how can franchise owners develop resilience to navigate economic shifts and industry challenges?
You work with your franchisor and you work with the other franchisees. That's what having that team of people is all about, and growing together on that. The franchisor is going to keep you abreast of everything that's happening in that industry as well. And together you're going to work on plans to make necessary shifts or adjustments in your trajectory, depending on which way you're going on that, depending on what's happening in the economy today.
So when you started your first franchise, how did you transition to other franchises?
So when I got into the restaurant industry, Marianne, back in the Taco Bell days, I was not actually an owner. I was an employee of that one. And I actually managed another restaurant too at the same time. That was a lot of fun in my younger days. I enjoyed that. A lot of hours, but I enjoyed that. But I transitioned into actually becoming a microelectronic circuit engineer of all things after going back to college. I get bored after a while, and I like to try new and different things on that. And then what I did find out is that I'm not, after 30 years in the corporate world, I didn't like corporate world anymore. I also had, at the time when I was in the corporate world, we had me and a friend of mine, another engineer, we had a dry cleaners, privately owned dry cleaners that we owned. And then we owned storage units, and then I owned some rental properties. So I found out that being able to adjust and being very resilient to what was going on out there was an essential part of really what made life exciting for me, as well as learning how to adapt to different things and learn different things along the way. But after running those private businesses, I found that going into the franchise world, I really enjoyed that when I was working as the at the Taco Bells on there, because you really had that team of people that will help you on that and help you be resilient and help you adapt to different environmental and changing factors out there.
It really shifts everything from you being the sole owner of a business, having to do everything by yourself. Even if you have people, you're still really focused on that versus a franchise where you have, like you're talking about, this huge team that's incorporated.
Yeah, it is amazing, Marianne, the running the dry cleaners, and you're kind of going, all right, so where do I dump the chemicals? Where do I get new chemicals? Where do I find different equipment? What's the best equipment supplier? All those things that we had to do ourselves. And, being engineers, we had no idea what the dry cleaning world was all about. We just thought it was a good business to get into. Storage units are a little bit simpler. I mean, people just store stuff. That's pretty easy. But that dry cleaners, boy, that was a real challenge. It was a real eye opener when I went back and got into the franchising world, and I had a whole bunch of people to call whenever I had questions. Where with the with the dry cleaners, we didn't have anybody to call. We had to kind of do the research on our own on that one. That was more challenge than I wanted to take on at the time.
Oh my gosh, that would be a full-time plus job, you know?
True, very true.
Well, and so how important is mindset in franchising? Is that something that people they need to have really a resilient mindset in moving forward?
Absolutely, Marianne. You really have to have that mindset that you are looking at the future and it's just not exactly what you had in mind for it. So you've really got to have that great mindset that I'm going to make a change in my life. I'm going to do what it takes to get to where I want to be at a certain time on that. My mindset was that I am tired of going to work from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, sometimes weekends, sometimes nights, and just having a set vacation schedule, having a set amount of pay. You have to be in that position for this many years, you get this much money, then this many years, you get that much money. I wanted the sky to be the limit. So I set my mind to the fact that there's got to be something better out there than just doing this corporate thing. So when you look at franchising, it's going to take some work. You just have to have that mindset to say that whatever it takes to get me to where I want to be, so that I can do what I want to do when I want to do it and have the money to do it. You really got to get your mindset and that, and not just be thinking maybe I'll dabble in it, because you're not going to dabble in it. It's a big chunk of money. So you got to have that mindset that says I'm going to do what it takes to make myself successful and to get myself to where I want to be.
What a great resource having an expert like you to consult with. Is that maybe one of the misconceptions that people have, is that they think it'll be a lot of money to sit down with someone like you and work out the details about owning their own franchise?
They do. That's one of the questions I get all the time is how much do you charge? It's like, nope, I don't charge anything. I work with about, probably over 500 different franchises on there. They pay us. They like the fact that we bring them people that we've already filtered out. We already know who they're looking for. So they really enjoy working with us consultants. We do all of the work up front, advertising, marketing, screening the people, so that when we send somebody to them, that is on the surface who they're looking for in a potential franchisee. So they really do enjoy paying us for that. And it really makes it easy to work with my clients, because then, they're not having to worry about, spending any money with me. They just can concentrate all their investment on the franchise itself.
What are some mistakes to avoid when selecting a franchise?
Don't let what's in fashion or what's popular right now cloud your judgment. Always, as we discussed earlier, get to know the business and where it is and where it's going to go into the future. Just because it's popular right now does not necessarily mean it's going to be popular in the future. The yogurt shops had a good run for a while, but they didn't last too long, and there was many of them. That's one example. But if you got into Orange Theory at the early stages, then that one did take off, and that one did become popular. So it's risky, but don't let what's in fashion cloud your judgment. Always talk with franchisees. Some people make the mistake of not talking with enough franchisees. Talk with them all. Not only are there going to be people that are going to help you grow your business on that, but you'll get a good feel for it. And I send my people over to franchisees all the time, and those franchisees are pretty darn blunt, and they'll let you know what it's all about. So talk with enough of them. Hopefully you're hearing good things. If you're not, run away. But hopefully you're hearing good things. So talk with enough of them until you're hearing the same thing over and over again. Always check out funding sources. You can use your money, 401k plan from a previous employer. If you want to use your money, not going to debt. That's what I did to start my business. Or a lot of my investors like using other people's money, SBA loan, as long as the investment services the debt on that one. Also, don't forget to find free advice. Local Score Chapter, SCORE. I use them to go over some of the opportunities I was looking at. They are business people that have been in your area for a number of years, have done lots of business in there. Great people to talk to, as well as your Chamber of Commerce.
Such great advice. Well, I know you've helped hundreds of people find the right fit for themselves. You're just such a wealth of information. I'm sure everyone wants to talk with you about their franchise.
I love it. Yeah. Call me anytime. Talk with me anytime about it. Mine's about education. I think there's a franchise out there for everybody, but I don't think everybody is for franchising. So we're going to get you educated to figure out if franchising is right for you to begin with. If it is, we'll figure out which franchises are right for you.
And not have it be a yogurt shop. I can't even think of one of those nearby now.
That's interesting, isn't it? They used to be on every street corner. You used to see those, but now they just kind of poof, off they go.
Disappeared into the ether. Well, my goodness, Gregory, I mean, you're such an inspiration. Where can our listeners connect with you and be part of your community and learn more about franchising?
You can start with going to my website, franchisemaven.com. That's franchise, M-A-V as in Victor, E-N.com. Email me at greg@franchisemaven.com, or just pick up the phone and give me a call at 361-772-6401.
Well, Gregory, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
It's been an honor, Marianne. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. To connect with Gregory, make sure to visit his website, franchisemaven.com. His books, Real Freedom and Expert Resilience, is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and everywhere books are sold. And remember, support our indie bookstores. If you don't see it on the shelf, just ask for them to order it. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.